Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long winter here in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to show you what we've been up to. Today I'm going to show you guys a build we've been working on. We're just getting wrapped up. It's a 1939 Dodge pickup Restomod. 360 cubic inch Mopar engine, 727 transmission, 8 3/4 inch Mopar rear end. Sits on an S10 chassis. Overall wild machine. This is all original sheet metal, and it was really rough when it started. We picked it up and it needed a lot of help. So it was a long road to get to the point it's at now. Front fenders are original. These are the original running boards we were able to save. You can see they have a marbled pattern to them. That's actually stamped into the sheet metal to provide traction, I suppose, getting in and out. The only sheet metal we were not able to save was the rear fenders. We did have to go fiberglass with those, but they turned out really nice. The color, the red, is a 1995 Corvette Flame Red. We've used this color on several builds. It's a great red, it's bright, pretty hard to beat. Because it's sitting on an S10 chassis, the bed is shallower than, of course, it would have been originally to allow for the suspension underneath. We went with a black stain, which turned out neat. It lets the grain still pop through, and just nice clean look with the red black scheme going on. Fuel tank is underneath the bed, so your fuel fill is right here. The tail lights are from an old Harley Davidson. These exhaust tips are really neat. We were doing an original restoration on a '73 Charger at the same time we were building this pickup, and the customer saw the exhaust tips, which were original equipment for that Charger, and fell in love with them. And because this is a Dodge, he's like, we gotta have those exhaust tips on the truck. The centers of the tips are red originally, and so it really matches the red of the pickup, ties them in nicely, and looks really cool. This was a difficult project to do because getting parts for these is obviously quite difficult. There aren't a lot of reproduction parts made for these, so you're pretty much stuck with what you have and restoring the existing parts. This, for instance, is the original 1939 Dodge Ram hood ornament, and this was in really rough shape, like the entire truck was. So we had this sent out and replated, looks just like new, and that's not a piece that you can just buy out of the catalog. They're difficult to find. The other thing is they change these up almost every year with subtle different designs. So finding a 1939 piece was pretty tricky. I'll show you under the hood, and don't worry, you Mopar guys, we didn't put a small block Chevy under here. This is a 360 cubic inch Mopar. These trucks originally had straight sixes in them, and so getting a large V8 in this engine bay is obviously complex. Takes up a lot of room, a lot of fitting, a lot of tight bracketry. You know, we were able to go with a block hugger style header. The radiator is pretty small as well because this grill shell isn't really large enough for an adequate radiator. One thing that we did in this truck, because we do have air conditioning, is for additional cooling, we plumbed in an auxiliary radiator that sits right down out in front of the truck below the main radiator. Plumbed them together so they're working in unison, and it dropped the engine temp dramatically. Turned out really neat. It's the first time we had really done that before. I'll open up this other side of the hood too, let a little more light in here. These are the original hood latches. That's the way they worked back then. These hood props are aftermarket, but they work really neat. It's nice to be able to get to both sides of the engine. If you have to get hands on something, you can really open this up nice, having two separate halves of the hood. Air conditioning, polished Power Master alternator, and again, getting everything to fit properly and find a home for every component got pretty tricky in this tight engine bay. We added these battery lugs out here on the firewall to make it easier to access. The battery itself is located in a tray underneath the box, virtually impossible to get to unless you have the truck on a lift. So this makes it a lot easier to charge it or jump it if needed. As far as interior goes, we kept some of the stock upholstery panels like the door panels and the headliner. We did carpet the cab, which originally they were not carpeted. The dash we kept pretty much stock. These are obviously modern gauges that we selected to fit into the original gauge openings. Got a tilt steering column, custom wheel, custom stereo unit. Pretty much all of the stereo components are under this seat platform. We did go with a set of bucket seats. There is very little room inside these old truck cabs from the 30s and 40s. Very tight. These are all the air conditioning, heat controls here. Another cool feature we were able to save, which took some work, the customer really wanted this original windshield frame to work. So just like back in 1939, you can open the windshield to allow airflow to come through. That's kind of a cool feature. All right, now for the best part, let's take it for a spin.